Alright guys, welcome back to MECH. This is Wads. Thought I'd give you a nice little tournament report for what was going on when I was over in Glassboro this past weekend. And let's start with round one here. As you can see, I was using my cars, which you'll see in the deck profile that I posted. And in the first round, I ran into a Triggerhappy Ion Storm deck. And I ended up going 1 and 2 in the first round. You'll see that I ran my classic lineup right here, and then between rounds, you'll see that I sided in to Trusted Lieutenant, and he would then side into Skydive. And I don't really know what else to say about this. It was a tough uphill battle with a defense on Ion Storm, who I typically left for last because Triggerhappy just kept recovering those stupid grenade launchers. Huge shout out to him. He was a great opponent. It was a tough match, but ultimately I lost, and I want to say that I thought it would set the tone for the tournament, but really all it did was just make me more determined to work my hardest and get through it. Alright, moving on into round 2. As you'll see, I faced off against Starscream, and he did not side any bots between rounds. I ended up going 2-0 this round. After the first round, I switched Legendary Warrior for Trusted Lieutenant again, as well as siding some battle cards, and it went 2-0. Really what happened is I ended up swinging really big, really early, and I put Aimless down pretty much every single time, and there wasn't really much left to say. It was a good match. I had a lot of fun. Moving on to round 3. Alright, going into round 3. I faced off against a General Megatron deck. I ended up going 2-1 in this round, and this one was kind of an interesting one because I didn't really know what to expect from General Megs. I have one, obviously, as you can see here on the mat, but I hadn't really had much time to toy around with him. I hadn't faced him before, so I wasn't really sure what I was staring down, so I did my best to kind of interpret what I needed to deal with at the time. Barrage was dealing an interesting effect, just kind of flipping back and forth, occasionally hitting some oranges with that bold, flipping back to get the pierce. Dead End was defending, but ultimately I ended up coming up on top. It was a tough match, and as usual, after round 1, I did side in Trusted Lieutenant, which I pretty much did every round. Moving on to round 4. Alright, going into round 4, I have to say this was probably the most frustrating, not like in a bad way, but it was frustrating because I really couldn't figure out what I needed to do after the first game, because the first game went by, I'll be honest, the first game went by so quick I wasn't sure what exactly had happened for the most part. As you can see, he was using Cliff Jumper and Trusted Lieutenant as well as Private Fire Drive. Now, I've seen this deck used before. It is crazy strong, and really it came down to who was able to get the biggest hits in and kills first, and it wasn't me. As always, after the first game, I sided in Trusted Lieutenant, and I just could not deliver the goods. It was a tough match. I went 0-2, and salute to my opponent because it was played very well. He made many very well played decisions, and ultimately he came out on top. I was a little frustrated at that point, but honestly, I was having so much fun, the frustration faded pretty quickly. It was replaced more by the joy of being able to come out and play the game, and knowing that I didn't lose because it was just random luck. It was a very skillfully played match, and I have to give him mad props on how he piloted it. Alright, and going into the last round, oh, sorry about that. I obviously need to start with Legendary Warrior. I was facing down Sentinels. It was the classic aggro build using Prowl and Ironhide, and obviously Optimus Gleaming Commander. And I went 2-1 after the first round. As per usual, I did side in Trusted Lieutenant, and it was honestly a pretty close match. Really what the difference maker was in the third game. Prowl had 7 damage on him, and I managed to get off One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall to kill him off, as well as put the screws to Optimus Prime. And then at that point, it was pretty much just attack until Ironhide was beat down. But that's pretty much how I wrapped up After that, I was out. I finished in 11th out of 31. I was actually pretty happy with that overall. I ended up pulling this General Megatron right here out of one of the 3 booster packs that I pulled. I was very excited about that. I really can't have any complaints. I had a lot of fun. I traveled up with the guys from over at that I normally play with over at the guild, and we had a lot of fun. The trip was good, and I would totally do it again. So big shout out again to everybody that participated. I know I mentioned in my short article that I put out, the guys from Vector, Sigma were there. Obviously the guys from Wreck and Roll were there because it was their shop. I saw some of the guys from Bacon Ice Cream Productions. I believe they used Team RTFC, and it was nice to meet everyone. Everyone was really nice. I expect I'll be making more appearances as time and finances allow, but this is not the end for me. You'll find that my decks will be getting touch-ups, and I will be back making every card hurt. Thanks for coming out to see us here on MECH, and I'll see you next time.